years in being a generation ahead in providing high-tech electronic gadgets and has been holding its existing market share and looking for further growth. The alignment between the business strategy and the marketing strategy has proved to be successful and helped Apple in maintaining their brand value and market share. Apple's strategic business objective is explained by its mission statement, which is based on creating innovative, high-quality products and services, and on demonstrating integrity in every business interaction. Apple's principles of business are to demonstrate honesty and high ethical standards in all business dealings. It treats its customers, suppliers, employees, and others with respect and courtesy. Apple has a huge market share, and it has been developing new products every 6 months in order to retain the existing customers and to expand their market share. After the launch of the first iPhone, Apple kept making improvements in the software, programmers, and the design of the iPhone until it came to the 4th generation, in the shape of the iPhone 4. For any company, the capability of a business to survive in production is one measure of business. This implies to being able to continue to exist in the market and the ability of a business to compete. If the company is not implementing its corporate strategy, is it possible for that business to survive in the market where every day new business is launched with more and more planning or strategy? Hello all, and welcome to the lecture on Structured Approach to Corporate Technology Strategy, where we will understand what is a structured approach to corporate strategy and why it is important for any company to follow a particular corporate strategy to remain in the market. After the lecture, we will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the need of structured thinking. Understand the assets process. Define the implementation of an assets process. Discuss the future directions in technology strategy. Let's start with a brief introduction to Structured Approach to Corporate Technology Strategy. Few companies enjoy long-term success without major commitments to the development and application of new technology. An increasing amount of evidence points to the vital role that advanced technology plays in long-term corporate profitability and indicates that firms are moving actively to exploit this role. This is illustrated by more aggressive technology acquisition actions by companies throughout the industrialized world.
Global technology management is about empowering the technology manager to work in a multicultural environment. Technical skills are obviously very important, but inadequate. You need to understand what's going on in different parts of the world. You need to understand communications differences, cultural differences, even differences in time zone. And you need to understand how technology is managed in other parts of the world in order to work with people around the world. One very simple example, stockbrokers in the Far East, in Hong Kong in particular, are expected to return to the office in the evening after dinner to see what's happening on the New York Stock Exchange. If you are supporting that function in that part of the world, you need to be available at that time of night to make sure the communication between Hong Kong and New York, other times of day, London, Tokyo, is always available. Communication is a very important issue. For example, you may have a programmer whose language is not yours. I'll use English, and I speak American English. The programmer may have learned English from a British speaker or an Australian. And there are differences in the way English is spoken in those countries. An example that makes sense to me is the word income in the United Kingdom means revenues. In the US, it means profits. Very different concepts. So if you're working on a problem for a bank and a coder is building code to support a banking operation and you say, I want you to provide the income in this regard, he may be confused as to what you need, and he may spend a lot of time and effort on something that ends up not being valuable.
Let's discuss the need for structured thinking. Structured thinking is defined as the ability to recognize, observe, and maintain concepts and structures. We live in a world with an overload of information and ever more technical ways of communicating. Employers expect baseline levels of language, numeracy, literacy, and technical skills. Who might be involved? Start by thinking about the people in the organization. They may include a combination of clients, service users, volunteers, staff, trustees, board members, family, community, support network, others. Starting points. It is important that one links any language literacy and numeracy, LLN, related development into an organization so that it becomes truly embedded and it's not just a passing interest. Think about what goes on in an organization. Aims and principles. These include an organization's overall purposes, the values and principles embedded in it, and the outcomes that one hopes to achieve for different projects and programs. Core services to users. The programs one operates, what one does. For example, you might provide information on a website, a monthly newsletter, a coffee shop, training courses, mentoring support, social activities, campaigning, aids, and appliances. The service user experience. Underlying processes that support the services one offers, such as marketing, referral, reception, environment, culture, membership scheme, feedback, and participation processes, data collection and communication. Expertise. Development and use of staff, volunteers, training, information. Management. Policies and plans, meetings, management information systems, monitoring, reporting. Resources and facilities. Buildings, equipment, specialist resources. Community and partnerships. Informal and formal links, local networks, specialist forums and information sources, colleague networks.
Seems like if we really want to create value for our customers, we need to understand our customers. The best way to understand our customers is to think like a customer. The process we use to help think like a customer is a process we call structure the conversation. It starts with, instead of talking about our own stuff, we move off of our own stuff and we move on to what's most important to them. Now, to do that, you need to understand what that is. We'd start by asking them for a list of issues. In other words, what are the problems or concerns they might have? What are the things that they're hoping to get more of or less of? The idea is to make a quick list of those issues, not a belabored list. We don't have to drill this to death. The idea is just a quick list. These are bumper sticker, captures of things that are most important to them in terms of the problems they're trying to solve or the results they're trying to create. Once we've made a quick list of those issues, we might add our own expertise by asking them, well, have you thought of, or would it be important to you? And if it's important to them, then put it on the list. Once we just conversationally have captured that list of issues, we then want to go into depth by gathering some evidence. In other words, how does it show up in their organization? So if they're talking about a particular issue, we might ask them, so how did you become convinced that this is an issue? What convinces you or other people that this is important enough to solve? And once we've captured a list of the evidence, we then want to understand the impact of that. In other words, the bottom line. Like, who cares specifically in the organization about this? So what and who cares is the impact that we're trying to understand. Now, once we understand the list of issues, we gather some evidence and some impact. Next thing we want to do is just summarize and make sure we understand two things. Did I get that right? And did I leave anything out? It's about accuracy and completeness. And once we have a better understanding of that, we start to just conversationally put together a business case for them. You see, at some point, your customer is going to need to take this solution that you have to a jury of decision makers. Now, that jury of decision makers might be an executive team, a task force, whoever it might be. What we'd like to do is we'd like to help add value in that process by putting together a business case that they could take to a jury of decision makers and get a decision about. Structure the conversation is the process we use to create value.
Let's now talk about the assets process. Everyone is in a rapid period of change. Change is everywhere, in political systems, in economic systems, in institutional relationships, in technology, in public attitudes, and in customers' expectations. One needs not only to be a part of change, but also be leading the change. Otherwise, one will be falling behind and will not have the support that one needs for highway programs in the future. Hence, the genesis of the movement towards AM in the globe has been an understanding of the need for it. Asset management process is the set of processes aligning the development, operation, and maintenance of assets so as to meet the desired requirements and objectives of the shareholders in the organization.
Well, asset management and investment management, essentially the same thing.
Well, it's all about managing savings. It could be official savings, sovereign wealth funds, could be private savings, insurance, life insurance, or it could just be mutual funds.
Our job is to maximize the return on their assets, given a particular level of risk that they want to take and goals that they have to achieve.
It's bringing our expertise and helping preserve and helping to grow that wealth.
So we're the honest broker between the capital markets and the client's needs.
Well, like a lot of businesses, we've got a core manufacturing element, if you like, which is the fund managers.
They are the people who are responsible for making the right investment decisions on behalf of our clients.
But to get the clients, we have a commercial side of the business.
That's the critical link between the fund managers and the clients.
It's where the conduit, essentially, between the brains of the firm and the clients of the firm. We try to communicate their strategy, what they're thinking, where they're seeing interesting investment ideas, and we try to bring that across.
Private banking looks after the wealth requirements of private individuals, looking after their cash reserves, doing investment from low risk, so cash plus, all the way through to specialist investment.
And then there's infrastructure, and these are the people who keep the business running.
We, in operations and IT, we really make sure that the trains run on time for the business, for our clients who need to make sure they have the right data in the right place at the right time.
I think the primary skill we're looking for is what I would call intellectual curiosity. So never being satisfied with an answer, always wanting to understand better than somebody else what's going on inside a company or inside a government.
It takes a lot of different skills to manage money. I started as a maths student. I didn't know the first thing about finance.
You want to get up, you want to see what's happened in Asian and European markets overnight. You want to see how that's impacted your portfolio.
So I think if you come in with that intellectual curiosity and a passion to deliver great client service, this could be the right industry for you.
Asset management principles. In its most general sense, AM is a business approach designed to align the management of asset-related spending to corporate goals. There are 5 key components to any comprehensive asset management system. An asset inventory, methods of assessing current conditions and performance, a process to determine and evaluate the future system needs, tools to evaluate and select appropriate strategies to address current and future needs, methods to evaluate the effectiveness of each strategy, assess current situation. There are both internal and external aspects to technology decisions. The internal background relates to company goals, strategies, capabilities, and performance. External background relates to the business and technical environment in which the company operates. A full understanding of the company's performance and current position is the intended outcome. Since goals are usually expressed in the form of business performance, a review of fundamental company goals is also important to establish the proper basis for all other aspects of the business. Specify technology strategy. Technology strategy is a business concept that may apply to 2 different ideas. First, a technology strategy involves the methods used to build and organize an information technology or IT department, as well as make that department profitable. This form of strategy is commonly called information technology strategy to differentiate it from the second usage. The other form of strategy relates to how a business incorporates and develops new technologies in order to keep the business competitive. For example, a manufacturing company may look for new types of machines that require less maintenance or produce a higher quality product. Select technology portfolio. The IT portfolio management started with a project-centric bias, but it's developing to include steady-state portfolio entries such as infrastructure and application maintenance. To get a handle on the technology portfolio, there are some basic steps. Create an inventory of the technology portfolio. Map technologies into their stages. Analyze the portfolio and act. Create a process to review and refresh the technology portfolio. Execute technology investment. One has to think about technology as more than a simple investment in the technology itself. The investment is really more about the business strategy and people. Today, the investment approach to technology is upside down, with too much emphasis on the technology itself. Transfer results for development. The efforts of technology acquisition and development must have a payoff. The utilization of the results in production processes and products is the ultimate goal. The activities needed are prototype development, scale up, production or purchase, distribution or installation, secure long-term position. In managing technology in a rapidly changing environment, it's vital to monitor continually the activities of others and business and technical trends. Such monitoring is needed to provide long-term insurance against unpredictable changes in technology, markets, or institutions that can unseat even a well-conceived plan of action. Now we will discuss about implementation of an assets process. Introducing a process such as assets into an organization is best undertaken as a phased approach, because success with structured planning approaches in an organization requires careful consideration of cultural and political factors. So it usually takes several planning cycles for adoption to be completed. Moreover, even straightforward adoption of an external method almost always involves some modifications to tailor its features to the unique aspects of an organization's needs. Now let's talk about the future directions in technology strategy. Contemporary advances in the technological arena have elevated the need for managing organizational knowledge scattered across diverse sources of information. A key challenge for knowledge management systems is the effective discovery and utilization of the contents stored in knowledge bases. Data sources. The databases used in technological decision-making are often limited in scope and have uneven quality. Increases in demand for better information to support decision-making are expected to lead to improved and more specialized databases. Analysis methods. Future technology strategy and management methods will continue to emphasize tool development for data analysis. A good example is the development of patent analysis tools. Literature analysis in the future will require a mechanism that can search larger data sets for keywords and incorporate expert judgment and insight in support of the analysis. Organizational approaches. Companies are finding that to give adequate attention to technology strategy and management, it's essential to assign the person or group in charge designated responsibility, funding, and a specific charter. Often a position on the level of Vice President of Technology oversees the duties. For companies that are fully committed to a systematic technology planning approach, the unit responsible for technology strategy and management will probably be attached at a very high level in the company, possibly reporting to the CEO. Be relatively small in terms of funding, but have review and sign-off responsibility for technology investment decisions. Have a continuing responsibility to develop and maintain strategy and plans and to inform senior management of major shifts and changes in the technological environment as it affects the company's business. Have long-term oriented funding in view of the company's business and technological environment, and recommend and promote investments in technologies that will pay off beyond the normal expected investment payback period. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. Through asset management, an organization monitors, defines, optimizes, and tracks their business assets and processes by automating. In its most general sense, asset management is a business approach designed to align the management of asset-related spending to corporate goals. An important element of the self-examination process is to review the firm's strategic technology areas, or STAs. The firm's current and desired strategic technology areas are the basic building blocks which form the targets of technology investments. Structured thinking is defined as the ability to recognize, observe, and maintain concepts and structures.